Can we hear me? Oh, there we go, nice and loud. Can you all hear me okay if I stand here? Yes? All right. Well, welcome to Malibu's annual poetry summit, The Ripple Effect. I love with a predominantly American audience compared to English, there's a lot of wooing quickly and it's puts me at ease much faster. English people tend to have their arms folded and want to be impressed much, find it a lot harder to impress. So, there we go. For those of you who do not know me, and a refresher for those who do, my name's Nathan Hassel. I currently serve as Malibu's Poet Laureate. There we go. No more woos. I'm honoured to have you all here, and thank you all for coming. I'm really excited to, get started and introduce you to all our wonderful readers and musicians and artists. But first I want to say, why ripple? When we do anything that makes a sound, whether it's twanging a guitar, stamping our feet, laughing, sobbing, speaking, a ripple spreads from us through the air. Each thought we have is a pebble dropped into the lake of ourselves, causing a unique ripple to spread for our bodies and minds. Ripples emanate from us and into others, and emanate from others into ourselves. They're not always visible, they're not always audible, but they are happening all the time, everywhere. So some questions to think about as we go through today is, can you feel a ripple right now? And what ripples are you responsible for? In the spirit, before we begin, some gratitude is in order. I want to thank the City of Malibu for its ongoing support of poetry and the arts. This includes the tireless work of Amanda Regali, Kristen Rosego, the Malibu Arts Committee and the Malibu Poetry Committee, which ensure arts events in the local area like these are not only possible, but growing and thriving. I also want to thank the staff at Malibu Public Library, the Michael Landon Center, and City Hall for hosting these events, and the poetry teachers, event participants, and attendees. I'd also like to thank my wife and co-conspirator, who's somewhere over there, Rachel Hassel, for her exceptional support, diligent work, and love, which has helped make my life as the laureate in her hometown much easier. Without her, events such as these would not be anywhere near where they are. My final thanks go to all of you who are present, both those participating by speaking, singing, playing, those by attentively listening, and those engaging in both. Unfortunately, our featured poet, James Cruz, was unable to make it today. He is unwell. However, his ripple shall still be felt, even in spirit, as I will be reading 3 poems of his from an upcoming book later on in the event. So despite that setback, I'm still very excited and deeply grateful that we can celebrate not only poetry, art and music, but the spirit of community and togetherness. So once again, welcome, and thank you for being here. All right. Our first performer today will ripple through the airwaves via a sound bath using crystal bowls and song. Zoe Lynn is a trained opera singer and certified sound healer through Crystal Candance LA, energy healer and musician whose transformative singing voice brings the body, mind, and spirit into coherence. She's been singing melody since before she could speak, and she's devoted her life to the magic of sound. She plays locally in Los Angeles at the Mindry Malibu, Hallowed Ground LA, and Ethereal Yoga Topanga, and guides events and private sound sessions in Los Angeles. Please warmly welcome Zoe Lynn, who will drop a pebble into the lake of this room by leading us through a meditation. Zoe Lynn, everyone.
Go ahead and find your seat, your sits bones in the chair.
Thank you so much, Zoe. I certainly feel much calmer. Everyone else? Yeah, I can feel it from everyone in the room. I'd say order of the day is we're going to have the majority of our adult poets, myself included, and then 2 of our adult poets are going to introduce our student readers, and at the end we're going to have 2 songs from a band who I will introduce later, and playing behind us are a quarter piece. All right. And more formal introductions for this band to come. So I'm going to read a poem first, and this one is one that I wrote in the last month or so, but was still obviously editing this morning, because that's how it goes. So this is called I Stand in My Garden and Wonder, and I invite you to close your eyes as I read, because I always think that's a good thing to do. So I stand in my garden and wonder, what is it that's toiling under the surface of all things? Most of this world has nothing to do with light, but still the boundaries hold eruptions' likelihoods. What the roots know from their knuckling is as essential as what the leaves learn from the as above, so below of a breath. Is that not what you've put us here for, sweet marrow of the cosmos? To find you hiding in the heart's gulping pockets? We shouldn't try to dictate how you may unfold. It's a matter of sense. Watching a blue rosemary flower wilt, time's aftertaste tanging the snail's foot of our tongues. But we seek outwards, caught in hope's begging ear. If we didn't, our selfies wouldn't catch our crooked teeth. They'd be all liver and bone, light of a star belly button close-ups. A flash-on symphony of margarita pizza collapsing into a black hole mouth. I must admit, there are times when the world becomes the most dreadful thing conceivable. Even birth is a scream, drenched in the wine of death. But therein is beauty, isn't there? If disgust extends its arm, perhaps it can touch harmony's reaching. To know the roots under our feet, we must acquaint ourselves with this, your shuddering music. Guitars slung with umbilical cords plucked over and over. Forgotten child of soil and soul. You're still music though, aren't you? But even in this swaying there are facts. The dead remember more songs than the living. And when we learn how to laugh as we drown in a bog after a recent rain in the south of England, and recognise that Earth is always prepared for her next meal, we'll know what it felt like when God placed his lips over Adam's and exhaled. This time, Earth will sing its mud into our lungs, filling them with worms and fungus, only for our souls to tear open and belt into the air. What's next? What's next? Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Next up to the stage is Cynthia Good. Good is an award-winning poet, journalist, former TV news anchor, and author of the chapbook, What We Do With Our Hands. Good has written 8 books and launched 2 magazines. Her poems have appeared in numerous acclaimed publications. Her full-length poetry manuscript, In the Thaw of Day, comes out this year. Please welcome Cynthia Good to the stage.
Nice introduction. How are you guys? So good to see you all here celebrating poetry, which I love so much. And thinking about today, I was thinking about how for myself as a writer, I tend to be drawn to the same kinds of things again and again, and have learned that all I can really share is the words that I'm given. So this poem is about that. It's called My Fled Subjects. I want to stop telling you about the moon, how last night it looked like a bassinet, how I wanted to climb inside or revisit rocking my boys when they were small. Avoid what's been done to death, a teacher warned. Never write about the moon. I'll stop taking notes about the sky, how it dictates my internal barometer. No more sunrise like this morning's hiding behind gray. No more clouds, the shapes of dinosaurs and angels. No red dirt or loneliness or wind or fish or sand blowing hard like knives against my knees. No more knives, no more flying or sideways rain, no death or guns or mother, no father or sons, no more scribbling about the things which consume, crush, and seduce me. Like the storm rivering the 405 last week, Vivaldi blasting and yellow clouds conducting thousands of us to switch on our lights as we inhaled exhaust and honked or hummed. Some of us scratching our ears, all of us lurching forward like rabbits bolting into the growing night. Thank you.
I just wanted to respond with what happened in Cynthia's poem about a writing teacher saying not to write about the moon. There's a quote I read a while ago that's really stuck with me by Louis Untermeyer, who was a poet, critic, and anthologist. He wrote, and I quote, "To a few unpoetic souls, the moon is merely a moon, a dead satellite that gives occasional light and suffers eclipses. But some have seen the moon as a dying lady, lean and pale, who totters forth wrapped in a gauzy veil, a ghostly galleon, a vast moth, a silver coin, a monstrous bubble." And I went back to this to remind myself, and perhaps the rest of us, that if you want to mention the moon in your poem, as Cynthia did, mention the moon in your poem. There aren't rules on what you can use and not, all right? So, thank you, Cynthia. And it's fun to say I'm not going to write about something which by nature just becomes a thing that you write about, so I love it. All right, so next up we have Karen Perkle. Karen is a 5th generation Los Angelino. She is the graduate of Art Center College of Design and is a retired advertising art director. Her poems have been published in San Pedro River Review, as well as several anthologies, including Malibu's community anthology, All Breathing Things. She has work forthcoming in Cheyenne Review. The poem she's reading today, Night Strings, includes ripples in the form of music waving through walls, the speaker flowing between stages between sleep and wakefulness, wakefulness and sleep. Please welcome Karen Perkle to the stage.
Not to embarrass you, but it's Percal. It's okay. I've heard it all my whole life. It's okay. Thank you, Nathan, for that introduction, and thank you, Cynthia. This is called Night Strings. There had been sounds from other rooms before my parents' divorce, before we moved into the apartment building. My parents arguing, my brother listening to rock and roll, my mother with her mixer in the kitchen. But sounds from strangers through shared walls, this was new. It seemed I was surrounded by adults, all single, all dating. Next door lived a round man with a dark beard, spare hair. I enjoyed my secret glimpses of the women he entertained, flashes of chic clothing going in and out of his door, as I walked past his apartment to mine. But late at night, after they were gone, and it was only me in my twin bed pushed up against the wall, and him alone in his apartment, I could hear him practicing, playing the violin. Long, low tones oozed into my room, cries for connection, sweet melancholy moans as he moved his bow across the strings, pulled it, pushed it, back and forth, slow and accurate. At times the notes seemed to vibrate, making the sound linger, hang in the air like a bird call. I moved closer to the wall, adjusted my blanket to keep warm. I had never heard the violin before. Well, at 11 or 10, I guess I had, but not so close, so muffled yet clear. The things it said to me, the pain, the loves come and gone, the violin doing his bidding as he held it under his chin, his hand large and deft, working its neck. The strings whined as I fell in and out of my dreams. Vivid impressions, infused with colors I had seen throughout the day. Jagged longings for one boy or another I liked, but was sure would never like me. And it was like this, him the player, unaware of his audience, practicing night after night, sending notes my way, and me, the unexpected attendee at his nocturnal concert. The two of us really needing one another, me adrift, yearning for something to fall asleep to, and him, strings tuned, trawling for someone to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen Percow. Glad I can edit while I'm up here. Okay. I too now and have been feeling those strings hanging in the air like bird call. I'm going to remember that image for a very long time. Thank you. Okay. Next up we have Tracy Katz. In her words, Tracy was born in a trunk to a family that ran a dinner theatre. She is trained in classical dance, has performed in various musicals, and has worked in film and television. After raising two beautiful sons, she discovered the gift of writing and facilitates creative writing workshops today. Her poem, Soft Shell, is a wonderful synthesis of rhythm, dancing, astrology, and the graceful movements of a crab. Welcome, Tracy Katz.
All right, thank you so much, Nathan. Thank you everyone for coming. I want to acknowledge my good friends and students who came. I love you. Thank you for coming. All right, this is called Soft Shell, and it was from Nathan's Ripple Effect Poetry Workshop, where the prompt was fire and water. Summer morning light streams and flickers in. born a moon child, sun sign of Cancer, hermit crab, sidestepping through life, carrying a colorful gypsy caravan on my back, a safe space in a warm, soft shell. At the beach, my head and shoulders emerge, deep inhales of ocean and spray mists, cleanses, restoring senses and sensibilities. Dear friend, do you see me in my freedom? Or do you see me in my safe shell home? A tap dancer sidestepping. I know this rhythm in bone memory and heartbeats, and I can learn new dances.
Thank you, Tracy Katz. I love how your poem ends. I know this rhythm in bone memory and heartbeats. It's like your background as a dancer just is so evident within how you write your poetry as well as the subject matter. So thank you. Next up, we have Bill E. Goldberg. Bill has been a marriage and family therapist for over 30 years, believes nature is the ultimate sanctuary and source of wisdom. The poetic tradition is his sacred text. He knows that communication is the guardian of love. He enjoys the mystery and asking powerful questions. His publications include The And Principle, celebrating self-acceptance, which contains 90 original poems, and Protecting the Diamond, a book and audio program about communication endorsed by 2 New York Times best-selling authors, John Bradshaw and Dr. Thomas Gordon. Bill is coming up to recite his, in my view, transcendent poem, which is simultaneously soothing and challenging, celebrating yin. Please join me in inviting Bill Goldberg up to the stage. Bill.
Thank you, Nathan. So the poem is called Celebrating Yin, and for those of you who aren't familiar with yin-yang, it's part of Chinese philosophy and 2 approaches to life. Best explained by if someone is at a party and a bunch of people around them are arguing and not listening and interrupting each other. A yang approach might be to raise your voice and try to get a word in edgewise. The yin approach might be to leave the area, which is precisely what I would do. Competitive speech is not my forte. So, celebrating yin. Yin means receptive, empty, seeing, taking in, exquisitely resonant, waiting, hearing. Yin is love's connection. In its stillness, surprises. In its stillness, magic. Yin draws forth from emptiness. It is spacious and uncluttered with self. Its stillness is shocking in a noisy world. It calms as it caresses. Yin is love's potion, love's aphrodisiac. It brings forth another's best. It brings forth another's best. It makes them more than they were. It's a safe haven, an oasis of becoming. Yin is like the fertile earth. It receives your seed, feeds it with still waters, and allows you to blossom. It allows you to blossom. And as you blossom, you fall in love with the earth. You feel grateful for this womb that births you again and again in the listening. Your full self emerges and is clothed in fine silk, adorned with jewels, and crowned with glory. Thank you. Thank you. And if anybody resonated with this and would like a copy, it'll be at the front door out there. Thank you for your attention and listening.
Bill Goldberg, everyone. Yeah, that's the second time I've heard him read the poem, and it just is such a transformational pulsing I feel in my body when I hear it. So, Bill, thank you. Our next reader is Shifra Wilder. Wilder attended New England School of Art and Design in her hometown of Boston. She moved to California to pursue modeling and production art in advertising. She later received a degree in psychology and worked as an addictions counselor in Malibu treatment facilities. Shifra is currently a painter, writer, and has a newfound love for writing poetry, which I'm grateful for, and I'm sure many others are too. Her poem, Who Is She?, is another one that dances, personal yet archetypal, and self-referential to today's rippling and the nature of being on stage. Everybody please welcome Shifra Wilder.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you all for coming out and braving PCH. As Nathan said, the poem is entitled, Who Is She? Is she the little girl twirling with her hands above her head? Her first rehearsal, she stands tall, chin up, shoulders back. She's shy and self-conscious of her protruding belly in her pink leotard, wearing white tights and a pink tutu, silver tiara atop her head. She dreams of being a ballerina. Is she the girl with the messy paint on her hands and face? She experiences joy and sensation of colors while creating masterpieces for all to see. She envisions herself standing next to her artwork at a gallery or in a museum. Is she the girl holding a pretend microphone? Singing her heart out, she imagines being on stage, the audience clapping and shouting her name. She turns away from the crowd as they continue to cheer her on. She takes a seat behind her makeshift drum kit of pots, pans, Quaker Oats containers, and wooden spoons. She relishes in the thought of being a rock star. Is she the girl standing alone in her basement? She stares enthusiastically at her pale yellow metal chemistry set she got for Hanukkah. She says to herself, this is the best gift ever, as she skillfully and precisely mixes formulas. She sees herself as a future scientist who will discover cures to help mankind. Is she the girl who rescues reptiles? She plays with her frog, chameleon, and snake. She enjoys tending to her cat's bloody injuries beneath the matted fur. It's her undeniable passion and love for animals. She decides she should be a veterinarian. Or is this the girl who is praised for wrapping her older brother's sprained ankle? Tightly, methodically, she fastens the pins to a carefully folded edge of an ace bandage. She ponders, she could be a nurse. She's a natural at caregiving. This girl is multifaceted like a diamond. Although shining brightly, she can't choose with so many decisions at hand. She has all these dreams, visions, and desires securely embedded in her heart. like ripples in a lake created by one stone. She is the sum total of all the ripples: ballerina, artist, rock star, drummer, scientist, veterinarian, and nurse. She is every girl who dares to dream. Thank you.
Thank you, Shifra Wilder. Your poem made me think, like, aren't we all the sum totals of all these different forms of rippling? I think your poem begs the question to all of us listening, which ones are you? You know? All of them. Everything and more. All right. Next up, we have Jen Cheng. Jen is the current Poet Laureate of West Hollywood, the author of the poetry collection Braided Spaces, and a 2023 California Arts Council Fellow. She is a multidisciplinary artist who blends East-West cultural influences as feng shui poetry. Jen is a cross-pollinator and community curator. Find her at Gen C Voice or www.gencvoice.com. Today, Jen is performing her poem 10,000 Butterflies, insects famed for their aptly called butterfly effect, in which the smallest event, like the flutter and the subsequent ripple of a butterfly's wings, could change the course of history. Welcome Jen Cheng to the stage.
Can we give a hand to our talented musicians giving us this beautiful music? I'll take you on a trip around the world. How many butterflies had to flutter to change the weather patterns, enough for my ancestors to survive, to escape the cultural cleansing that was meant to erase those who were different? Popo said, many did not make it, especially on your father's side. Tailors, those who had skills, too smart, some drowned. They had to swim across the waters to the British colony Hong Kong, where they made a new life. But why? I asked. 點解啊? 點解? To survive, to escape the bad guys. Grandma tried to explain to me when I was only 5. When I was a teen, the Japanese soldiers could have taken me. I had to take the soot, the burnt black bottom bits of the wok, and put it on my face to make me ugly, and claim my older brother as my husband, because the soldiers were likely to take away the single young pretty girls. Young pretty girls were taken away during the war, so she had to pretend it was safer to be ugly. What if Grandma, Popo, had been taken away? I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here today if Mom didn't promise to marry Dad, because Dad promised Amma on her deathbed that he would return to find a bride in Hong Kong. Back in Hong Kong in 1996, I traveled as a college student before the turnover to China to find my roots. So much missing history. But my relatives said I had to promise, never go to China alone. Never go to China alone without a tour group to protect you because you don't speak Mandarin and you stand like an American. Anything you say and not say will make you a rebel. And for no reason, a lowly policeman will throw you in jail and you will be disappeared. Disappeared? Like the Desaparecidos of the protest songs of Latin America I sang with my college choir? The power of bold gay men in the streets of Buenos Aires reclaiming the slang mariposa. Cambia, todo cambia, cambia, todo cambia. I found the underground lesbian club in Buenos Aires, down an empty street, or down a stairwell to a basement of an arcade, where I asked a girl to dance with me. Dance with me? She and her friends laughed at this loca, this crazy chinita tourist traveling alone, wandering into a club lesbiana where the police still raided the gay clubs, where I could be disappeared. So they drove me home. They drove me home to Palermo, where I was staying with the gay boys who weren't allowed at the lesbian clubs. But they were friends with the proudly out local mariposas who worked at PlanetOut.com. PlanetOut.com, one of the 1990s gay websites where we hungrily scoured for travel information to find the fun, to find where we thought we could safely travel. But what about the places that weren't so safe? Not safe to be pretty boys or butch girls. I passed as a femme and could claim one of the boys as my husband for different reasons than Grandma. It's a different kind of war to survive. To survive the political winds that sometimes swing violent, I now choose to live in a proud gay little haven where I imagine I walk without the threat of being disappeared as I count the miracles of butterflies. Thank you.
All right. Switching microphones. 2 seconds. Do you want that? Just put it here. All right. Jen, that was wonderful. I mean, what a journey through. As you said, you're going to take us around the world. I'm like trying to find myself to get back like into this room, and so wonderfully performed. So thank you so much, Jen Cheng, for that. Yeah. And it worked so well. I mean, everything is, but it works so well with the band, and that was delightful. Okay. Our next reader is Eileen Fiore. Eileen refers to herself as a late bloomer. She went back to college at 35 and started her 25-year teaching career at 49. Initially, writing was just a fantasy for her. However, after retiring in 2014, she knew it was time to follow her dream, especially as people told her that, in retirement, she needed a passion. She is thrilled to be here and a part of the Malibu poetry community. Her poem, An Ancient Table, is alive with a vibrant sense of rippling, a movement that stretches across aeons as she explores the natural world with deep reverence. Please welcome to the stage Eileen Fiore.
Musicians and fellow poets. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is a poem, but also a story of an adventure. The trip presented many physical challenges, but the spiritual part of this trip will never leave me. An ancient table, rocky precipice where boulders tumble below. Watch how far they fall. A trail of switchbacks is waiting as we descend, guests in this canyon, and begin our journey from the top of the Hualapai Hilltop Mesa at the south end of the Colorado River, down, down. The Havasupai, people of the blue-green waters, footed this trail many years ago. Old mules that trotted and panted carried food and supplies for the old and young. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Walk through nature's labyrinths, cathedrals, the sky, the roof, of red rock and verdant green, the ancestors whispering, "Take care of me." 10 miles to our destination, through the maze of trails, canyons, forests. After 7 miles in the hot sun, the village of Supai comes into view. A mirage? A group of people settled in this yawning, dark canyon, completely self-sufficient. Built on thousands of years of erosion, sand, a soupy mushroom color. People walk, children run, baskets weave, chimneys smoke, small houses, patches of garden, a leveled area, a good place to settle. 2 nights at a lodge, then 5 more miles to the campground. A helicopter overhead carries an Andy Gump. We stay in tents. Those last days we walked to Havasu Falls, only visible by low-flying helicopters or on foot. A thunderous noise as we approach the fall, and sea blue-green and turquoise, healing colors revered. We have been proper visitors, return, mesa in sight, a dinner table that fed us a gourmet meal. Climbing out of the valley is grueling, our packs and tents heavy, up, up, up. We hurry toward dusk. The 4 of us return as the sun lowers behind the mountains. We have mastered your challenges.
Thank you so much, Eileen. I could feel my head kind of walking side to side the whole time, and I wanted to just get up and start pacing with the rhythm of the poem, so that was really wonderful to hear. Yeah. Our next reader is Anne Buxey. Anne is the 4th Poet Laureate of Malibu, my mentor, poetry editor, and most importantly, close friend. Today, she is reading her poem, Bamboozled. In her quintessential, spiritual, and transmutive style, her poem explores, among many other things, spirituality, the ephemeral and the eternal, and the environment, all wrapped in an incantatory calling forth of the colour blue. Welcome to the stage, Anne Buxey.
Bamboozled? Can you say that? I love that word. I was suddenly struck that the storm, the night, and I were just one, and that we'd survive because it's the entire universe that survives. That's a quote from Raul Zurita, a Chilean poet. Now for Bamboozled. Night shifts her glimmering gown for the blue of another hour. A marrow blue throbbing on the edge of a dune, skipping on her rolling swells. Blue freed me, revealed a wisdom, a consciousness soaked in my pith, milked from the depths and heights, a gift from Vairohana, the Buddha of space. When hopes collapse, I dream through the deep broth of night to Orion's glimmering belt and swing for all my crowded life to the Big Dipper in the northeastern quarter of my heaven. Her crystal light drips over cracked lips, drenching the timbered walls of my ego, an encore to star-tempered hours. Out of the blue, the desert of despair blooms. Burned grasslands surge with poppy and lupin. Saguaros flower. Butterflies stitch these blossoming thoughts together, inebriated by isotopes of love. Beyond calculation, like wispy clouds drifting off the ocean, bitter thoughts vanish, swallowed by the blue throat of space, whistling through my tempted body. I walk out of the haze of prejudice and dogma onto the blue plains of Vairocana, dimensions beyond reason, where I move intact, without resentment or fear, where the needle of my suffering moves toward an equilibrium ruling every blinkered moment, where I look at you and see fragments of myself reflected, pieces reaching out to mend the sundered flock of humanity. Blue saturates me, a whale laments. It echoes through forests and reefs, rumbles beneath high rises, creocide rampant. We are larger than this. This the gift of Vairocana, opening my mind to spheres beyond, where everything is metaphor, where thoughts roam and breathe without judgment, where I make up my mind to hold all opinions at once, where I walk away from the sorceries of maligned episodes into the rough prayer of thirst and the laughter of leaves, proof of a universe alive, blue sweeping the sky. Dios mío, resounding, my God, loving, loving, loving. How else?
I'm not going to speak too much to Anne's poem, for I may lose composure. But thank you so much, Anne. That was just stunning. I don't know what to say. Before I move to our next set of readers, I'm going to read 3 poems from James Cruz, who, as I said, unfortunately was unable to make the flight to get here today. These poems are from his upcoming book, Unlocking the Heart, Writing for Mindfulness, Courage and Self-Compassion, forthcoming from Insight Editions / Simon & Schuster in October 2024. I'm going to read the 3, and then I would like, because he is going to see this recording, to hear it up for him despite him not being able to make it today. So, this first poem is called Community. Science now tells us what we have known since the beginning. You and I are made of light. And if atoms can be birthed by long gone stars, whose signatures we still trace in every night sky, and if these atoms can come together to form something as complex and compassionate as a human being, then maybe we too can join hands, make some new and sacred thing that will save us all. The next one is called Kinship. Don't you feel it some mornings before words of news stories and headlines take over the mind. The kinship with all things humming in the quieter air, around chipmunk and vole, around crocus bloom and old fence post, whose rusted barbed wire has buried itself in tree trunks and can no longer harm. Even the tiny newts you move out of the road, and the woolly bear caterpillar using its whole body to cross to the other side. Don't you find it, especially with your neighbour, whose bumper sticker and yard signs suggest he believes things unimaginable to you, whose face still fills with light when he sees you passing by and shakes your hand, his bare palm so warm against your own? And this final poem I'm reading from James Cruz is called Orbit. Go where it's warm is perhaps the best advice we can offer each other in times of distress. A pair of arms held out in the hospital room, or mugs of mint tea taken together at the table of mourning. You feel it as a force field, an orbit you slip into as soon as you meet someone new, and sense that small, blazing star pulsing in their chest, drawing you closer until you know you'll be circling that source of light and heat for the rest of your life. Please offer James all the energy, healing he needs, although he cannot be here.
Anyone who is just a dish, well, would be a fish.
Great job. Another round of applause for Laura. Where did she come up with that ending? That is such a fabulous ending. Lillian, will you come up? Lillian is also from Miss Lapine's class.
My poem is called Us, and it's dedicated to my best friend, Star Safai. I'm devastated you're moving to Italy. As we plan our next trip, sneaking into the girls' bathroom, you told me, you got this. They're here for us, to see us, not to hate on us. Running in the ocean with our clothes on, the bracelets we made, saying Pookie and Karma. Late night lattes, each sleepover, staying up until 2:22 to scream off my balcony. Heartbreak Princess, us against them all. We are our own team. Through tears, smiles, ups and downs, breathe in, breathe through, breathe deep, breathe out. It's us, forever and for always, us.
Thank you, Lillian. You know what this means, Lillian, is that you have to go to Italy. Oh, so we have our third poet, Perla Franco. She is from Miss Coy's class at Malibu Elementary. And Perla, are you ready to go? No? Perla. Perla is a constant writer of poetry, beautiful poetry. There we go.
Hi, my poem is called Up and is a poem about facing your fears. Speak up, they say. I try, but in return, I get interruptions and they ignore. So it's easier to stay quiet. Stand up, they say. My legs shake and I sit right down. It's safer this way. Look up, they say. My thoughts weigh my head down. Less struggle and pain if I don't try. But someday I know I have to stand, look, and speak to my fears, look them right in the eye, and finally say, I'm not afraid of you anymore. And after that, I slowly realize things are looking up.
So thank you, Perla. Beautiful. And one more round of applause for our Keys. You guys were wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo, and our first 3 student poets. I just wanted to make an announcement. We do a monthly series called Caffeinated Verse, and our last one of the season, which starts up again in September, is on May the 18th, and our very own Ricardo Means Ybarra, who just read, will be featuring. So you can hear 15 minutes of his poetry followed by a Q&A, and I will be sending details out via email. But thank you, Ricardo, and thank you, the first 3 student poets. All right, next up we have Jolyn Reagan, who has served on Malibu's Poet Laureate Committee since its inception, since 2016. Reagan is honoured to teach poetry to students in grades 5 to 12, alongside Malibu's first Poet Laureate, Ricardo Means Ybarra. Ybarra has been a long-time mentor of Reagan's. Her poetry has been published in A Place Like This, a Malibu community anthology in 2021, and in the City of Malibu's student poetry anthologies each year since 2020. She's a regular contributor to Malibu's Verse About Town and is thrilled to be a reader at today's Ripple Effect Poetry Summit. Her poem Freed is dedicated to her mother, the ocean swell of Malibu, and is another poem which explores its themes through the colour blue. It's as if we all got together to plan to use these colours, but we did not. It's very organic. They rippled between us. Welcome to the stage, Jolyn Reagan.
Yes, I have the pleasure of introducing 3 more fabulous student poets. All right, here we go. This is dedicated to my mom, and it's called Freed. Beautiful blankets of snow sparkle on the soils of solitude, miles and miles of it, as far as the eye can see, when you care to look. Saturdays, they are snaggled snarls of snowy snares, suffocating me. It was those days the sea shone, sinking sweetly into my heart, with all her diamonds a twinkle on her soft blue top. She called me, and the chill of the cold-minded coughed me right out of frozen Fargo into her ocean of light. Her and me, now, open, warm, and freed. Thank you. All right, so now let's get to the good stuff. I have the honor of introducing our last 3 poets, so your utmost attention, please. The first is an amazing young man. He is an incredible poet. He's insightful, he's honest, and he's hilarious. He is the one and only legend, Roca.
Okay, so my poem is about the capybara, which is my favorite animal. The capybara, so soft, so small and cute, its nose and the mouth is so long and big, unlike others. Its enormous amount of popularity is unreal. Fur very beige and brown, the capybara's teeth, only 2 of them, but very long, big, and dirty. They love taking baths and just eating. The end.
Big round of applause for Legend. All right, and our next poet, I meant to say that Legend was from our Webster Poetry Workshop, And next up we have from Mr. Carrier's high school workshop. This year we had a very special experience. The students we started with 8 years ago, who were in 5th grade, are now seniors. And you're gonna get to hear from some of them. Our first poet is one of the most authentic, beautiful young ladies you're ever gonna meet. And she is a heck of a poet. Please welcome Emma Marshall.
Can you hear me? Okay. This is called Supernova. Are you ready for the future? Well, I don't know. Why don't you ask the 3-year-old child shoving a crayon up their nose? They can answer as well as I can. I am not a being, I am an idea. Something you dream and hope and wish for, but suddenly despise when I arrive. I am a yellow star, not the ones you make wishes on, or the ones you stare up at under the deep blue blanket. I am surely not the shiny, you really must be someone if you got one of these stars. No, not those ones down in Hollywood, no way. Perhaps I am the embodiment of hope, that fleeting kind right before the other shoe drops. I am the pulverized, juiceless skins of citrus past who lie rotting in the trash, or some tech magnate's half-assed compost bin. Or maybe, just maybe, I am as real and worthy as you are. I am not just the number on a page, or a test score, or a phone number you dread seeing pop up. Maybe I was just a child, skeleton thin, alcohol swab sterile, just about to 2D disappear into thin air. Maybe I was just a baby, no malicious intent in the way I was small. Maybe I am simple. I am the single-celled organism that crawled out of the ocean and grew limbs and fingers to crack and legs to crawl. Or am I jelly, liquid like soup? Aha, I lost your attention. Now I can really speak. Do I deserve to be spoken over? I do not want to grow up, but don't talk down to me. Think of me like this, please. I am the gum on your shoe, but remember, I was once unwrapped and chewed by someone. Thank you.
I did not lie, she's amazing, right?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
All right, and so for our last poet of the day, this is a very special poet. She started out with us when she was in 5th grade. She is an amazing writer. She is honest, she keeps it real, and she is one of the most amazing people I know. Please welcome to the stage, Sophie Regan.
Hi, everybody. I'm a Malibu High senior, and this poem is basically about how, knowing I'm graduating in 5 weeks, I am able to look back on everything that led up to where I am and who I am right now. So this is We've Done Good. As I throw my sign to the sky, reflecting on every tear that I've cried, every pain that I've felt, how my heart has leapt, the truth is, I wouldn't change a single one. For every embarrassing moment, to every time that I pushed myself, to every feeling I felt, we've come a long way. You care less about perception from others. You're no longer a reflection from your brother. You are now your own person. You stand as strong as a willow tree. May your branches and leaves blow in the summer breeze. It's your time now. Your seedlings may fly wherever they need as you approach the end of what has seemed to be the best years of your life, but there is so much more. So this is a cheers to the years that I've spent wasting on whether I am fat or skinny enough, if people remember the pimple I had that day, or the way that I felt when he made my heart melt. Those years, these years, will slip and fade away. We've come so far. So far now I am able to focus on the good because we've done good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jolyn, and all of our student readers. That was amazing, and you know, it's an honor to be, maybe not as much as Ricardo and Jolyn, but to come into the classes and also get to lead some of the workshops. So it's great to see the fruits of, you know, what you've all been working on in the poetry program. All right. So we have our final performers are going to be coming up. American poet Robert Bly once stated that songs are almost always directed at the heart. Our final performers are masters of touching hearts, not just through their music, but helping others discover the music within themselves. Something I experienced personally at a Finding Your Voice workshop a few years ago in Esselen, Big Sur. Hailing from Australia, the brothers Koren embarked on an odyssey, drawn by their fiercely independent mother's quest to reclaim her voice, a voice that once echoed on the stages of the original cast of Hair. Landing in New York City in 2001, they began their 15-year-long musical journey as The Kin, from the hush of empty dive bars to the roaring applause of millions, culminating in a coveted gold record. Their talent took them around the globe, sharing stages with the likes of Coldplay, Pink, Bon Jovi, and Rod Stewart. However, amidst the glittering success lay a void, a yearning for authenticity and a sense of unfulfillment. Their mission has now grown to include all voices and use the music, song, and voice as a medium of transformation. Their voices soar to angelic heights, but they're from down under. It's Isaac and Thorold from the brothers Koren and The Kin here to close our ceremony with 2 new songs. Welcome the brothers Koren and The Kin.
Just to sing in front of it. I feel like we could just be with you. You have the chorus for the
Thank you so much, Nathan. And thank you to everyone. What a beautiful, beautiful event.
just the
It's been so moving to listen in. It's been moving
to go to the
by the word. Thank you.
You might need to be on this side. Should we just do it? Sure. I think we're going to bypass the speakers just to save time and sing to you in the room. Is that all right with you? Give it up for Mel on sound, doing a great job. We missed the sound check, so it's on us. Sounds good.
This is a song that took a lifetime to write, but 1 year to write. And it's a journey of the life that we've both lived thus far as brothers, making music for 30 years together. It's still a long way home.
I never thought I would make it on my own. I took the long way home. I never thought I could feel this home. It hurts to say I took the long way home. I fear I've strayed and took the long way home, but I'll half my heart is scared to break, while the other part just celebrates. I'm here now. I'm here so little as I grow. It hurts to say I took the long way home. I tried so hard to be well known. It hurts to say I took the long way home. I feel I've changed and took the long way home, and I'm home. Half my heart is set to break, while the other part just celebrates. I'm here now. I'm here now. And half my heart hesitates, while the other part just says, don't wait. I'm here now. I'm here now. We were made for this moment. We were made for this lifetime. We are instruments of change. We are living for this hour. Say yes, say yes, say yes. We were made for this moment. We were made for this lifetime. We are instruments of change. We are living for this hour. Say yes, say yes, say yes. We are instruments of change. We are living for this hour. Say yes, say yes, say yes. I keep on breathing. Where are you now? I keep on breathing out. Where are you? Where are you now? I never thought I would close your eyes. It hurts to say you took the long way home. I never thought I could lose you twice. It hurts to say you took the long way home. I'll see your face on the long way home. It's worth the wait, the long way home.
You can hear us, okay? Well, thank you so much. I feel so full up with all of your words. And, the students, give it up again for the students. Give it up for Nathan Hassel. As Nathan was saying, we believe in all voices have equal value. And so, given a voice as you are, we're going to invite you to raise it with us. And we invite you to dare to song. That's our greatest vision. And we'll teach you the moment as it comes. This one's called Everything's Changing.
Time moves slowly. I watch my feet as I'm falling into the moment. I burn like creeping, playing my heart to the pulsing. Generation And it's like you couldn't rely on love to keep you falling. It's so fast when everything's changing my eye. Oh, I wanna stay close when everything's changing my eye. Oh, I wanna cry out. Everything's changing. My change reaction. Do I wanna feel safe? Don't wanna ride out the city yet. To release it. Ooh, and all is taken. Nothing's far keeps taken by the monkeys and dreamers. You're ready to lose it. Oh, the images exploding in my mind. It's like I couldn't rely on reasoning to get me through this time. Everything's changing right. Oh, I wanna stay close. Everything's changing right. Oh, I wanna cry out. Everything's changing.
Do you know that no one's voice sounds quite like yours? It ripples out like no other, creating red light as well as sound frequency like a sound bubble all the way around you, 360 degrees. Believe it or not, your voice needs to be heard. Sing after me, ready? Just where you are. Just remember, the person next to you is just worried about what you're thinking about their voice. Here we go, ready? Oh, come on.
Let's hear it one more time for the brothers Corinne and the King. Gotta dry my eyes and nose. That was great. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being here and showing up today to participate in poetry, community, music, art. So, you know, let's hear it up for yourselves as well for coming here. I just want to leave you with this. The psychologist Alfred Adler said that the hardest things for human beings to do is to know themselves and to change themselves. So I hope today's summit and its associated ripples helped you know yourselves a little bit better and inspires you to make the changes you know somewhere you need to make. So thank you so much for showing up. Refreshments are in the multi-purpose room, so join us there and continue the ripple of conversation, caffeine and nibbles. From the well of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you.